What's the compression ratio?
16 to 1.
Oh!
I'm gonna stake my reputation on this one. This is it, buddy.
So today's the day we are taking delivery of our land speed bike engine. We've named it the Saucier. So we are down here in Georgia with Johnny from Laid Back Racing. He did a lot of work on Charles's 263 Super Hog engine, and it's an absolute beast. And this is going to be about twice the output as that. So we're here. We're going to check it out. We're going to put the engine on Johnny's punishing dyno, get it tuned in, and take a look at the power curve. Johnny started with a little over $4,000 worth of parts for this build. Adding in labor for assembly, headwork, and extras brings the price tag to over $6,000. So, a few quick facts. 389 cc's, 16 to 1 compression ratio, a target power peak of 40 horsepower at 8,500 RPM, with reliability to run multiple miles at wide open throttle. This is basically a blank check build. Is that how you describe this?
Oh, Wyatt told me to build it like it was mine.
Yeah.
I love the powder coat. That's not the first thing I noticed, by the way, but it's really, really nice. Man, it's like billet everything. Billet block, billet head.
And what's the displacement on it?
279 cc's.
Okay.
I mean,
379, right?
379, yeah.
Okay.
It's heavy.
That's all that billet, man. Wow.
Oh, this thing's beautiful.
So what was your first reaction when, like, Wyatt said we wanted to go land speed racing?
I was like, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I mean, what do you say to something like that? Yeah, we're going.
So how do you build an engine to produce so much power but also survive 3 miles of nonstop?
Well, it's pretty normal. I mean, what you would normally do, but this is new territory. We
New
don't really know.
territory, so there's no guarantees on the 3 miles of
I'm good for a mile, maybe 2, 3 stretching it.
Oh, that's what we wanted to hear. We're going to be putting it to the test. These fins being welded up, what is that for?
So basically, the bore is so big on this that it would actually run out to the edge. Grab that gasket over there. That's actually the bore size. That's why it's extra gasket. So.
Oh my!
This is not an animal head. It's not an animal head, but we'll get an idea of it so you can see how it's getting out to the edge.
Right.
So I welded it out and built it out too to kind of make it match the block somewhat, but to give it some more mass up here, to more clamping for the gasket, because even on this size, like a smaller engine, it's hard to keep the gasket sealed.
Okay.
So it has an O-ring. It has a receiver groove in the head.
Okay.
And it's glued on. It's been sitting for 3 days, and we're going to hope it stays sealed here in a little bit when we bust it off.
What's the compression ratio?
16 to 1.
Oh!
All right. So you're not pull starting this thing.
No, you probably can hardly spin it with a ratchet.
Are we ready to get this thing on the dyno? I'm ready.
He's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I am. I want to hear this
I've
thing.
been waiting for days.
Well, sounds like we gotta do something. Boom.
40 horsepower is the number we are looking for on the Saucier. We also brought along this modified Tillotson 225 engine we put together from Go Power Sports. This is a hot engine. Last summer, we put this on a Manco Dingo, and Charles sent it so hard. He crossed the finish line on about 2 wheels.
Holy moly! Wow, that thing takes off fast.
This engine, where most 212s and stuff kind of are finishing up, this still has half the pedal left.
This is faster than probably 90% of bikes and go-kart engines out there. And we're just going to put it up there to show you a comparison of what it looks like up against a blank check, all billet engine like the Saucier over there. I also need to point out that every small engine dyno is different, so this engine might only read 20 on this dyno and it might read 32 on someone else's. You just don't know. we can only really compare dyno to dyno. So if this makes 20, it'd be awesome to see 40, 39, 38 out of the Saucier.
Oh, it uses O-ring.
Yep, we're getting the header installed. We're using an O-ring
Yep.
and 4 bolts in the header.
Yep.
That's how you know you're making the juice. So this engine hasn't run before, right? First startup. All right.
It hasn't fired up.
So, is there a break-in you gotta do? Or just let it be?
We'll crank it up and let it bump around and probably make some little bitty like 5,000 pulls and let it go up and down and let it get some heat. And then we'll probably make like 2 8,000 pulls and we'll shut it down and we'll just check the graph and see what it's looking like. See if we need to change jet, whatnot. And after it cools back off, we'll do any adjustments if needed and then we'll send it.
Sweet.
What kind of RPMs are we talking about on this thing? What's the max RPM?
Well, for this size engine, I'm thinking it's going to peak around 9.
Okay.
Maybe higher. I mean, I've been fooled before. If it has to go 10, we'll go 10, and we'll see how far we got to go.
I mean,
But on paper, it's looking like 9, or
Okay.
in the 9ish area. It
Okay.
should be.
And how much power are you expecting out of this?
If it makes 40, I'll be tickled.
Sweet. And what's the record on this dyno?
37. We actually got it on the computer. We'll look sure.
All right.
so we might break a record today, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
the one I went to the dyno competition, and what did it make? White? The billet 40. We'll say 40, and it made 35 here.
Okay.
So my dyno's a little lower
Every
than
dyno's
the one
different.
we use.
Yep.
So the 16 to 1 compression and the just awesomeness of this engine. The flywheel did a little bit of slipping.
So unlike your off-the-shelf engine, this doesn't have a key in the flywheel.
Yeah.
Well, it does come with one, but we don't run one because of this. If it ever happens, I mean, because if you have a key in there and it slips, it'll destroy the crank and the flywheel, the taper, in most cases.
Pro engine builders like to degree their own flywheels to set the timing and typically don't run a flywheel key due to the risk of them slipping and destroying hundreds of dollars worth of parts and labor. After a few failed attempts to secure the flywheel, we decided to take a risk and install a steel key and tighten the flywheel nut to 165 foot-pounds, 100 foot-pounds over the recommended spec.
Going for it.
Good luck in there, little buddy.
It's not gonna move. I'm gonna stake my reputation on this one. This is it, buddy. This is it. I hope you're right. It's gonna be fine. It'll be fine. Wow.
What? That was cool.
Yeah. Cool.
38.88, sir.
Okay.
It's wild.
Okay. Nice.
Now that we have this first pull done, we're putting the blower housing on it, and we're gonna adjust the jetting, or what?
Yeah, we'll do the jetting and get the fuel close, and then we'll do a timing sweep. To
Okay.
really dial it on in.
And it made 38.8, so
Yeah, I think 40 shouldn't be an issue.
sweet.
42. 42 shouldn't be an issue.
So it's still too fat? Is that the idea? Okay.
Fuel ratio, we want about 6.0, I find, is where it's around the
Where it's happiest.
At least that was on my bike, like about
Yeah.
6.0.
Yeah, this big thing we'll probably keep it 5.8ish.
Yeah. How hard we're going to be running it. You see it made over 30 foot-pounds?
Wow.
It made over 30.
Man, this thing's gonna be ridiculous.
30.32, 6,400.
And them was my dyno numbers, not everybody else's.
Yeah.
It's a house if it's making that much here. It's looking like the last one where we did the jet change, it got better on top end. And it's still a little rich, so we're gonna lean it some more and see if it cleans it up.
So the peak was very similar, but other than that, we have some.
Yeah, you can see a
Something
dramatic
picked up.
change there.
Yep.
From 47 to 9,400 in 6 seconds. It's 450
Might as
pound
well
wheel.
say 40 horsepower.
We're at 39.7 horsepower at, I'd say, an air fuel ratio everyone's happy with. And so now we're going to move on to adjusting timing to try to get over that 40 horsepower mark. Turned it to 95 that time.
94.
Yeah, even at 85, it's still making 38, 37, 38.
Yeah, I'd say 88 or 89 is where you want to be your max.
If you look at the horsepower number, it's just going peaks, but it's just holding it and holding it for another almost 1,500 RPM.
So we want to be geared for like our max speed.
We want to be geared for somewhere around high 8s,
Yep.
I think. Is that we only really start to go down right around 9,000. It's only dropped 1 horsepower at that point. So if we're geared high 8s, it should be pretty ideal.
Yeah.
We'll have the torque to pull through, you know, since we've got so many foot-pounds of torque. If you look at peak at 30, it's going to be pulling all the time.
This will be the second oil change. You gotta look at it. Oh, yeah. It looks better than it did before.
That's about what you expect.
What is this? Maybe 3 minutes of runtime?
Something like that.
As long as we don't have that almost straight methanol coming out, this is
Yeah,
good.
what we have here is condensation.
Which in Utah, it's gonna be a lot drier.
Right, we'll also be doing 1 full pull. It's going to put a lot of heat in the engine. It's been burning a lot of that off.
Working on the ignition timing right now. They just they're upping at 1 degree, which is a safe thing to do. Hopefully we'll see a gain in horsepower and torque on this.
We're just trying to figure out which way it likes, right?
Yeah. Wanted to see 40 horsepower. We were right there. Right there.
I know.
This is like the second one of these I've used.
Still good though. 30 foot-pounds of torque.
30 foot-pounds, 39.5 or 7 horsepower.
39.7 something. 7.1 something. Pretty good. Pretty good. This 225 we're going to put up there though, she's going to be about 25 horsepower.
Think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like 4 ago.
So like all these are you?
39.7 and 75. This one right here.
I mean, round it
All
off.
right, there's
it's
all.
40.
Oh yeah, so we just drained the oil and I washed the crankcase out with brake cleaner because it's going to be sitting for a while. You want to do that to get any moisture from the methanol and stuff out of there because all it'll do is cause rust on your parts. So other than that, we'll put some oil down the plug hole, spin the motor over, get the oil down in the rings, blow the carb out and get it dry, and it's ready for storage indefinite until it gets ready to
run again.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So we have the Tillotson 225, about to put it on the dyno.
Here we go.
25 horsepower.
It might make that on other dynos, but I don't know about this one. It sounds good. Hey, she picked up a third of a horse by removing the muffler. Look at that. Lost a little torque. Yeah. That's cool. So give some, take some. Exactly. I'll do one more, yeah. That's a really pretty curve, though. Man,
Sweet.
That's pretty sweet. Dude, thanks for having us, Johnny.
Hey man,
Yeah.
I enjoyed having y'all.
And Luke,
Great.
it's been fun hanging out, dude.
Hey, we had so much trouble earlier today, but
I know,
it's
it was
fine.
worth it.
It's fine.
All right, so you think it's going to survive a mile, 2 miles?
I think we got a mile.
Okay.
2 miles. Anyway, 3 miles this grenade.
No, okay.
That's even,
All right, so we made it back to the shop. We're going to test fit the Saucier on the land speed bike and get to work on some of the fairings and body work to help with our aerodynamics. Big shout out to Johnny Barry for having us down to his shop and putting our engines on the dyno and figuring out what kind of numbers we're looking at. You can find him on Facebook at Laid Back Racing. He's also a member of our Mini Mayhem Facebook group just under Johnny Barry, so you can find him there as well. I just want to stress again that Johnny Barry has one of the most low reading, if not the lowest reading, dyno in the country. So that's why our 225 only made 16 horsepower. Also, we didn't jet it or anything. It was literally sitting on the shelf. It's got a lot of hours on it. We just ran it on gasoline, not methanol. We threw it on the dyno and ran those 2 passes that you saw, and that's pretty much all we did. It's safe to say that the performance of that Tillotson speaks for itself in our 8-way engine performance comparison video. And these engines are completely not in the same price point either. The 225 might be $1,000, $1,500, and of course you're looking at about $6,000 for the billet animal. So
we're working on the aerodynamics on this bike because we kind of figured aerodynamics are going to help in achieving our goal of around 120 miles per hour. So Charles has kind of mounted our fairing here. I'm working on a fender and I'm going to make it out of fiberglass. So what I've done is I used some carpet padding, some cardboard, and a lot of tape, and I put it over our tire that goes on the front. So I'm going to start laying over some fiberglass on this, and when we're done, hopefully we'll have a nice streamlined fender that we can mount to the forks of this bike. And then we'll maybe start forming some fiberglass off going to the fairing on the bike. So, let's get started with the fiberglass, shall we?
All right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this fiberglass, and we got fiberglass. This is
What do you call it? The mat? Fiberglass mat? Yeah, matting.
Yeah, it's you don't want the fiberglass that's woven together. It just get the fiberglass is all mixed together. I think I call it just a mat. So I'm going to cut it in strips, and I'm going to start painting the resin onto our fender, and I'm going to start laying the strips down, and hopefully everything's going to work out just fine. I've never made a fender before. This is going to be a first. So I'm going to cut these strips. All right, so we're now painting on our resin, our fiberglass resin. Trying to be somewhat clean. Trying not to have it dripping all over the place.
Yeah, we're trying.
Trying.
Got the puppy. We got the puppy pads out. No big deal.
And I'm going to start to lay down the fiberglass.
Oh, that's the way you're gonna do it. Okay, cool.
Trying.
That's fine. No, I was waiting to find out. I just was gonna watch and learn.
Not saying it's the right way,
Oh no, it's
but it's
kind of like me with the Bondo. Oh yeah, I guess the fumes to the resin is going up to the office.
You alright, buddy?
Are you feeling
What?
it? Are you feeling it now?
Just keep on playing with, and there it goes.
Nice job.
Thank you.
This kind of reminds me back when I was shaping surfboards in Cali for the Beach Boys.
Sorry. Careful. Hey, not bad. Hey, nice. Little stiction.
Yeah.
No big deal. It doesn't fit. We can cut it in half. We can cut it in half.
We have deadlines approaching fast, and the bike is completely blown apart for body work. We're headed to test on an airstrip with our Tillotson 225 tomorrow, and we have to leave for the Salt Flats in just 12 days. We'll include more information about Motorcycle Speed Week in an upcoming newsletter, which you can find on our website, cars-cameras.com. We would love for you guys to make it out to spectate Motorcycle Speed Week. I'll also link the event website in the video description.
All right, guys, this is where we're leaving you. The rear fender is pretty much done. It's looking good. Our test engine is on here. We have our Bully clutch installed. We're looking for 85 miles an hour would be awesome with our test engine on the airstrip tomorrow. The front fairing is getting shaped. Ike had to run out to get more fiberglass resin just to make it one smooth piece to minimize that drag coefficient. We have this piece of foam that we're going to wrap and Velcro right here so our feet have something to push against to help with stability. But our list is still a mile long. We need to wire tie all our fasteners. We need to completely redo our fuel system to comply with the AMA rule books. We need permanent exhaust foot pegs, a shut-off lanyard. We need a remote fuel shut-off. We need a fire extinguisher. We need to mount our computer. So there's still a lot to do before this thing can go racing at Bonneville at the end of the month. The best way to describe this experience so far is that we thought we had half the bike done last episode when we built the bike and made it run. But after reading the rules fully, we realized that we are nowhere close to halfway being done with this bike in order to comply with the AMA rules and take it racing at Bonneville at the end of the month. So it's been a lot of work so far, and we have a ton of work ahead of us in order to leave in 12 days. So thank you for watching, everybody. Leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying the build series. Let us know down in the comments, how fast is our Tillotson 225 test engine going to go on the airstrip tomorrow? I have to head to South Carolina to the Big O tomorrow. Go Power Sports is going to be there. They are providing engines to a few racers who are entering one of the biggest karting races in the country. It's called the Big O in South Carolina. That's where we're going to be picking up our cast block Tillotson that we're also going to be running on this bike as well. So I can't wait to see it in action there. We're going to grab it from Paul and the Go Power Sports guys and now fit it on our bike once we get it back early next week. So a lot of moving parts here. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of work. Thanks for watching again. We'll see you next time.
I think the 30 minutes to cure on the Loctite should probably be about the minimum. This is the hard one to see.
Yeah, I judged it from on one side. I bet you were way fat.
And we're probably very fat. But that's good. Start out. Didn't smell bad, but you do have a pretty